The question is, what would you say to a young artist in any creative field trying to come up? And I tell them, you got to love it. You have to love it because there's no money in it, and you grind and you do it in the worst circumstances. Like when you start out in comedy, you do it everywhere it's not supposed to be done. Mm-hmm. Bookstores, bowling alleys, coffee shops. Mm-hmm. Like by the time you make it to a comedy club, you're like, wow, this is easy.
I agree with you. Whatever you do, like love it. Like money is so far down the line.
Yeah, I feel like you should just tell your story. Especially being a comedian, my focus was just being funny. And then I got out here and everybody was funny and they're like, all right, but who are you? So you got to tell your story and be yourself because a lot of people are funny, but only you are you. Mm-hmm. So nobody can duplicate where you come from, what you do, who you are, how you were raised, all that jazz. People are interested in that more than just a little jokey joke. You know, anybody can do a jokey joke. They're like, who are you? Let people into your life.
Yeah. I just waving at my sister over here. I have a lot of family here supporting. I would say don't invite them to your early shows. Wait till you get funny, so you don't have to dig yourself out of a hole. Because they're like, oh, is she getting any funnier? Should we come to this show? Don't blow all of their good graces on the early stuff. Get funnier, do the work, then start inviting people out to show them what you got.
I'll tell you a story about the money. So, right from year 1 to 2, I got this gig where I was opening for Tommy Davidson for a while. I was traveling around with Tommy, and I happened to see what he got paid, right? So he was getting paid $5,000 a show, and I was getting paid $100. And I had friends who were jealous of me making $100. They're like, man, you get paid $100? I'm like, yeah, I know, this is crazy, So yeah, so the money it comes when it comes, but that's why I say you have to love it.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because my advice is always any artist, I don't care what kind of artist, keep multiple streams of income because I don't care what you do. Yes, whatever you do, it's going to dry up. You're going to, so if you're an actor, you're going to have times where the work isn't coming in. If you're a comedian, there's going to be times where the work isn't coming in. So if you have other talents, use them all.
What's your other talent?
What's my other talent? I'm a teacher. I'm a life coach.
You sell drugs? I'm joking. She gave me a Zyrtec.
That guy lit up when you said that. He was like, really?
And
really?
now I'm a drug dealer. You see how they do you? Give me.
She got a whole bag. I was like, what are you?
Hey, everybody know when you over 40, you got all kind of medication in your purse. I be ready. Who are some of your favorite comedians? Let's swing on down here to Darius.
Right now, my favorite is myself.
That's not a joke. It's not a joke.
I think some of my favorites are the people that I've actually gotten to work with, and then I see their process. I live out in Colorado, so some cool people come through there. Alonzo's come through. He was really awesome to watch and a nice person. Maria Bamford, Beth Stelling, Josh Blue. Leslie Jones, I got to open for her years ago, and she was like, blew the roof off the place. And I was like, oh, damn, another level. I got to get funnier. So, it's nice to work with people and watch a professional and how they can really kill it.
Yeah. For me, it's Mom's Mabley. I can just listen to her for hours and hours and hours. And any comedian that was just killing before they were on television, where you had to listen to them on the radio, because the stories are so vivid and just so lively. They're all my favorites. So I'm more old school when it comes to stand-up. Who you got?
I'm from Chicago, so Bernie Mac was the person that I saw, and I was just if anybody could say what he said, but couldn't say it the way he said it and had the same effect. So it was first Bernie Mac and then Dave Chappelle because he knows how to have very uncomfortable conversations and make them funny.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow, that's a great question. My list is a long list. I will put Dave at the top of it. I put Dave Chappelle at the top of it. I think coming up, I'm a topical guy. I love topical comedy, and I always thought that George Carlin was the greatest social commentator we ever had. But recently, I think Dave has passed him. Mm-hmm. So I love Dave. But then I learned from so many people. Robin Harris taught me how to be quick. George Wallace taught me to always be writing. George, to this day, carries that yellow pad at all times, always writing. And I got to work with Bernie once, which was cool. You know, yeah, see, that's how old I am. I get to work with people. They're like, wow, you knew him? Yeah.
The question is, are there any topics in comedy that should be off limits?
Nobody better talk about my mama but me. And that's it.
She said that's it. You got any?
I say no. I feel like we need to. I feel like comedy starts a dialogue.
Yeah.
Like if we can all laugh at it together, for whether you agree with it or not, I think it brings people together. If we can all laugh at something, that's when the conversation starts at.
If you can make it funny, then do it, I think.
Yeah.
And that's it, if you can make it funny. And that's the fun, that's the risk when you go into certain topics that make people completely uncomfortable. If you make it funny, that's the brilliance of being a comic and the risk. And if it's not funny, you know, oh well.
Yeah, I think for me, I just don't want the responsibility of my words sometimes. So it's not so much as I think that it should be off limits. It's like I just choose not to fight battles that I don't feel like fighting. So I tend to censor myself a little bit differently just for the fact of my laziness. But, you know.
I think
But you be fighting in the parking lots. I've seen you.
I mean, it is what it is. No, but I feel like when we say things, regardless of like our intention behind it, if it's funny or not, I feel like people they're gonna hear what they want to hear. Like you see people in comments where it's just like I got a video and like people in comments, I'm like that's not the point of what I was talking about, but people hear what they want to hear, so it's just like all we can do is, you know, like I said, start the conversation.
Yeah. So this discussion could go on and on, guys, and you were just so amazing, and I just want to thank you guys for being on this episode of the Comics. Let's give our roundtable a rousing applause. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for this episode of the Comics. Let's hear it one more time for these amazing comedians.